Next on the show, after being diagnosed with prostate cancer, one Winnipegger felt like his choices for treatment were limited in Manitoba because the options available in our province, he looked at them and thought they might make his life worse. But it's 2,000 kilometers away and costs thousands of dollars to find something else. So to tell us more about his story, Thomas Reed's in studio. He's a retired teacher of 35 years. He worked at Fort Richmond Collegiate, and that's going to come into play and be important. But he's here to share what's been going on with his health. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
When were you diagnosed with prostate cancer?
In July.
Oh, just last year. I'm sorry.
It just happened. Well, no, it's about 5 years ago, I complained that I was peeing too much at night, urinating. The doctor sent me for a PSA test, which is
standard, yeah.
Standard, and it came back high. So it sent me over to the urologist, and after waiting a couple of months to see him, they did for the next couple of years, just every 6 months, checked, and the numbers weren't going down. So they did a biopsy, and that's when we found out that in August, that there was cancer.
What was it like for you that moment?
It was strange because, first of all, it was a phone call, and I actually said to the urologist, I said, if we were dating and you broke up with me, would you do it over a text? Like, there's something about face-to-face. However, It was very good. It kicked me, and first of all, it was confusing, and then all of a sudden when I had to explain it to, like, say, my daughter or my mom or my brother or a friend, it choked me up because it's more like, oh, they need to know, and it's confusing. Then all I did was just start looking at what my options are.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because there'll be certainly, as you know, a lot of people out there that will, have gone through or maybe are going through the same thing, those moments.
Oh, yeah. You never know. And I think over the time in the last 6 months, I probably had about one pity party, lasted about 20 minutes, and then I woke up one night just full of anxiety, thinking, what's going on? So that's why the more research I did on it made me feel a lot more comfortable about the whole situation.
So tell me a bit about the options you found. So as I mentioned specifically here, what made you say that treatment options in Manitoba could make your life worse?
Well, the quality of life, the treatments here, and don't get me wrong, the surgery option and the radiation option, both Cancer Care Manitoba and the Oilers, they're brilliant what they do. But what they do is they deal with the gland, and they eliminate the gland rather than the tumor within the gland. And for a lot of cases, that's your only option. And
how does that leave you with your life then after?
Well, for a lot of ways, they say it leads to incontinence. I have some bowel issues as it is already, and that's all the area around there. But then erectile dysfunction. But I mean, it's funny with that one. It's kind of like I was thinking, it's like your microwave. You don't think you use it until it breaks, and then wait a minute, I just compared an erection to a microwave. Anyway, so
in this interview, I like it.
All right, yeah. So, but that's it. And then I did
quality of life things.
Quality of life, and then I did some more research and certain types of prostate cancer. I found this in Europe and the States. Can benefit from focal treatment. Focal treatment just focusing specifically on the tumor. And I found in Toronto that they have two clinics there that a bunch of urologists got together and decided to form this organization. And I think there's one in Montreal as well. You have to be eligible. You have to have a certain type of prostate cancer. So the MRI happened, sent in December, sent the results to them. Anticipating they'll get back to me, and lo and behold, they're out in Christmas holidays. But they did get back to me after and said, yeah, I'm a candidate, and from then on, I just went forward.
So you're actually having this procedure March 19th. It's called Nanoknife, and it specifically targets, so hopefully, I guess you wouldn't be left with some of these things we're talking about, like incontinence and such, because it's more specific.
It's more specifically, so the gland is still being left intact.
Yeah.
And what they're doing, what they end up doing is they enter a certain area with some 19 millimeter needles, 6 to 8 of them, I believe, and attack the tumor through, I think, electricity, basically, and then it dissolves. And so then after that, just every 3 months, do a PSA, and hopefully it works.
$25,000 is what it costs. How are you paying for it?
Well, originally, because my ego was getting in the way, and just by chance, my mortgage was coming due in March. Actually, I'm going to go sign it today. So I called them ahead, and I put another $30,000 on the mortgage. But some good friends of mine and some colleagues and family said, well, just try this GoFundMe. And again, ego, no, I can do it. And then finally I said, I just did it. So just on Monday, I put it together. The grandkids helped do a video on it, which is actually really cool. And then on Monday at about 5 o'clock at night, sitting there, I phoned. I said, okay, let's release it. So we released it. And then with the help of my daughter, my grandkids, my son-in-law, they all posted it. Some friends posted it, the link to this thing. And by noon, it was covered the next day. We already surpassed it, and now we're well surpassed it.
I mentioned you're a teacher. I understand a lot of former students come out of the woodwork.
Well, that's what's even better than the money, because all of a sudden I'll get a Instagram text from somebody that's saying, "Hey, you taught me in 1989.
Yeah.
Great, glad I can help."
What are you going to do with the money that came in above and beyond what you need for the surgery?
A good point. At the very beginning, we said I'm going to collect, and I was anticipating enough money for a flight and maybe the hotel. I wasn't anticipating the whole coverage, but it has gone way past.
Because it's like $37,000 or something.
It's $37,000 plus some money that people didn't use GoFundMe and they want to do direct. What we're going to do with that money is I want to give more awareness to bringing Nanoknife to here.
Okay.
I have approached the Minister of Health. They got back to me really quick, both times responding. I was just putting it out there because I knew they weren't covered because it's still considered experimental. It's been here for 18 years.
Okay, so let's talk about that. I just want to dig into that for a second. Mm-hmm. So you did actually, obviously we know what's happening with your journey, but there was a point here where you knew it was experimental. You reached out. Did you reach out just asking in case they might cover it?
I wanted to put the bug out there in case they.
And what did they say to you?
They were really good coming back. They used one word I didn't like. There's a word, it's an administration word called adequate. They said, we have adequate services in Manitoba. I said, no, guys, you don't. You have really good services in Manitoba. We just don't have this one.
Okay.
And so hopefully, like I know in the States, what they said that, I don't know if it's the FDA or whoever approves it, but they're approving it now for Medicare this year.
So but by you saying, but they say it's experimental, which they do. I also have a statement from the province, so I'm reading the language correctly. But you're saying it has been around for 18 years, and now you're pointing to things that are changing in the States for Nanoknife. Do you think they should seriously consider offering this here?
Well, economically, I think it would be a great choice too, because the Nanoknife, I've done way too much research on this, but the Nanoknife machine is like, it's like $375,000 as compared to the $5 million robots we're buying and all that stuff. That is rather economical, as well as there's a lot of people in my place, in my condition with that type of prostate cancer, that would benefit from this procedure. So I think it should be. And if people like in Toronto and Montreal, they're bringing the private ones in, I think sooner or later it should be government.
So your ask wouldn't be to have the government cover $25,000 for patients that might want to have Nanoknife out of province. You just think they should invest in the technology to have it here.
I think that would be the ideal way. Yes.
Yeah.
I think let's keep it in province.
How are you feeling about March 19th?
When I finally got approved, my daughter said to me, she texted back. She goes, "Oh, it's real now." This was just like 5 weeks ago, and I go, "Yeah, it's real." And you don't really think about it, especially when you're adult. So now it's real. Now it's going to happen, but it's a 3-hour procedure. You're an outpatient. The only downside at first is you're cathetered for maybe 3-4 days.
Yep.
I've never been to Toronto either. So, well, the airport, but never been. So.
Let us know how you do. Thanks for giving us a laugh this morning, and also something to think about around this emerging technology and this procedure, Thomas.
Great.
Good luck.
All right. Thank you for having us.
That is Thomas Reed, retired teacher of 35 years in our community. Just to reiterate here, CBC also did reach out to the province for comment to understand this. In a statement, as Thomas alluded to, the province did say, quote, "Nanoknife is currently considered an emerging treatment. At this time, there is insufficient evidence regarding potential complications and long-term outcomes from the procedure. Nanoknife is not currently covered by any provincial health insurance plan in the country, including in Manitoba. For this reason, Manitoba Health and Seniors and Long-Term Care is unable to approve coverage for this treatment under the out-of-province program." Right now, the time, 11 minutes to 8.